Welcome back to another installment of Free Money Week 11 edition. We righted the ship, we got things back on track in the gambling side with a 2-for-3 week, and we could have been 3-for-3 if it wasn't for Doug Peterson and his damn analytics always going for 2, and that defense couldn't stop a nosebleed for the Eagles, so they let us down. But overall, a pretty solid week. Let's keep it rolling and get right into it. On the fantasy side, start Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has been a rookie phenom this year. He's really taken the NFL by storm. He would be my pick for Rookie of the Year this year, but he's coming off his worst fantasy performance since week 2, and he still scored 20.5 points. He's had at least 20 points in all but one game, and his next game comes against the winless, the hapless, the defenseless Jets. Their defense is a plane wreck. A total of 4 quarterbacks have scored 20-plus fantasy points against them, and the Jets have surrendered the 5th most points to the position. Justin Herbert, that's a lock this week. Start Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's recorded at least 75 yards from scrimmage in 7 of the Cowboys' last 9 contests, and he'll face a Vikings defense that leaves a lot to be desired in Week 11. You mix that with the expected return of the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton himself, and that makes Cooper a really viable starting option this week. The Vikings have struggled against receivers lined out wide, and the positions put up the 6th most fantasy points against the Vikings this year. Game script could be in Cooper's favor this week as well, so fire him up. I like him as a number 2 receiver this week or a flex option. Also, you're getting a pretty good deal with him. He's only $5,400 on DraftKings, so that's a pretty good bargain. Speaking of bargains, start Jacoby Myers. DraftKings is only $4,900, and Myers was the only Patriots receiver who caught a pass last week, and he led the way with 5 receptions, throwing a touchdown pass as well against the Ravens. Now, I don't expect him to throw another touchdown pass this week, but against the Texans, he has a really good matchup. The Texans defense is the 10th worst against receivers in fantasy this season, and Myers has recorded at least 12 points or more in his last 5 contests. He also has at least 5 receptions and 60 yards in 3 straight games, so you are getting a bang for your buck with Myers. Start Antonio Gibson. Gibson's making his return to the segment after he scored 22.5 fantasy points against the Lions on Sunday. It's his 2nd highest total of the season, and his consistency has been a key. He's had at least 12 fantasy points in 6 of his last 8 games, and 4 rushing touchdowns in his last 3 games combined. He's also going to see some targets in the backfield. Those have been going up as the weeks have been going along. He's had 4 in 4 of his last 6 games, catches that is, and the matchup against the Bengals is very favorable. They've allowed a lot of rushing yards, 133.1 per contest to be exact. Start Rex Burkhead, another Patriots making the cut. This is another one that you are getting a bargain with. He's going for $4,600 on DraftKings. Rex Burkhead's beaten out. James White is the primary change of pace back for the Patriots, and he has an excellent matchup with the Texans with a bottom 5 run defense heading into Week 11. The Texans have also given up the 3rd most fantasy points to running backs this season, so the former Nebraska Cornhusker should be in for a big week. On to the betting side of things. Take the Washington football team over the Cincinnati Bengals. Washington is favored by 1.5 points. Washington's offense is, they leave a lot to be desired. But they have some intriguing pieces that I really like, such as Terry McLaurin at wide receiver and Antonio Gibson, who we just mentioned in the previous segment. And Alex Smith is a reliable veteran, and he's averaging a respectable 7.8 yards per attempt over the last 2 weeks as a starter. So he can push it downfield if he has to. The team with no name has the 10th best opponent-adjusted pass rush grade, which could be a disaster for the Bengals QB Joe Burrow, who finds himself behind the 3rd worst pass-blocking unit in the NFL. Basically, for that simplified is, Chase Young, the Washington football team, can get to the quarterback. Joe Burrow's Bengals, they've been doing a poor job of protecting him, so I think this has the potential to be a long day for Joe Burrow. And while the Bengals have a potent passing attack this year, Washington's allowed the fewest passing yards per game and the 7th total yards allowed overall per game. Most of this due to their good pass rush. This is the clear strength versus weakness matchup, which should heavily influence the outcome of this game. Take the Dolphins over the Broncos. Dolphins getting 3.5 to cover against the Broncos. Miami's 3-0 since they appointed rookie Tua Tagovailoa as the starting quarterback. The Dolphins have scored at least 28 points in all 3 Tagovailoa starts, which helps secure wins over the Cardinals, Rams, and Chargers. 2 of those teams are pretty good, and the Chargers are no joke either. I think that's a better team than the record shows. Miami's defense has also played a major factor in its impressive 6-3 start this season. They can score, and they create a lot of turnovers, and they're scoring points off of those turnovers. The Dolphins are giving up just 20.2 points per game, which ranks 5th in the league. And the last 3 games I mentioned, Cardinals, tremendous offense. Rams also have a lot of weapons there. Chargers, the one thing they do well is they can score. The Dolphins have finally caught the betting market's attention. They have a 7-2 record against the spread, and this week, they face Drew Lock, who has the 2nd lowest passer grade among current starters, according to Pro Football Focus. And the Broncos are also 2nd to last in Pro Football Focus's opponent-adjusted offensive rankings. I really like the Dolphins here. I feel like this number should be more than 3.5. So that is a great play this week. Finally, take the Patriots over the Texans, putting a lot of faith in Bill Belichick's Patriots this week. But Pats find themselves back from the dead, and they're sniffing a playoff spot. They knocked off a good Ravens team during a monsoon last Sunday night, and the Patriots, they lean heavy on the run if the opposing defense allows it. According to Pro Football Focus, once again, they ran a league-high 67% of their offensive plays in Week 10, with Damian Harris picking up 84 of his 121 yards on the ground after contact. So they have some physical runners. They also got Rex Burkhead out of the backfield, who I like. Good change of pace back. And it's against a Texans team which, they haven't been good against the run. Last week, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt ran for over 100 yards against them. And Houston's run defense ranks dead last in yards allowed per play at 5.2. The closest team to Dallas, I beg your pardon, to them is Dallas, and that's at 4.8 yards a play. So they give up the most yards per play, and it's really not close. I expect the Patriots to grind out the clock, run a lot of clock. Cam Newton, good game manager, can make some plays. So I think the Patriots' offensive line is going to be imposing and outmatch the Texans' defensive line. Texans also, they're 2-7 straight up this year, and they also happen to be 2-7 against the spread. So they are not very good when it comes to covering. Take the Patriots. They will win by more than 2 in this one. That's all we have for you this week. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and drop a comment in the link below if you like it. And as always, enjoy your football Sunday.